It was our third wedding anniversary. I had been planning something simple, just a quiet dinner at home. I left work early, cooked his favorite meal, and waited. The candles were lit. The table was set. He didn't come home. At 9:23 p.m., I got a call from my friend, Rachel. "You need to see this," she said. She sent me a video. It was from his company's annual gala. I recognized the venue. He had told me it was a casual business dinner, nothing fancy. The video showed him standing on the stage, holding the mic, smiling confidently. Then came the words that made everything stop. "I want to share something important tonight," he said. "For 3 years, I've been in the wrong marriage. But now, I've found the right person. She makes me happy in a way I never thought possible." He turned and kissed his secretary. The room cheered. People clapped. Some looked shocked. Most were smiling. No one knew I was watching. He had chosen a public stage to confess an affair. He had chosen her over me. Without warning, without a word, he decided to humiliate me. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I didn't call him. Instead, I cleaned the table, blew out the candles, washed the dishes, and went to bed in silence. The next morning, I packed. He wasn't home when I left. I knew he wouldn't be. I wasn't going to wait around for explanations. I left him a note. "You made your choice. This is mine." I moved in with my cousin, Melissa. She had a guest room. No questions, just quiet support. The media picked up his announcement. CEO declares love for secretary and surprise gala reveal. It was everywhere. He and she became a trending couple on social media. I got no messages, no apologies, nothing from him. But 3 days later, divorce papers arrived filed by him. No alimony, no settlement, just a clean break. I signed them. No argument, no meeting, no fight. A month passed. I found a job in a different district. Nothing glamorous, but I was busy, occupied, and I preferred it that way. Then, out of nowhere, he called. I let it ring. He called again, then texted, "We need to talk." "It's important." I didn't reply. The next day, he showed up outside my office building, waiting by his car. I walked past him. "Anna, wait," he said. I stopped but didn't turn. "It's done. Please. Just give me 5 minutes." I turned slowly. "You already had your stage. You said enough." His eyes looked different, tired, worried. "It's not what it looked like." I laughed once. "You kissed her?" "On stage. On camera. It looked exactly like that. She pushed me. I didn't plan it. You told the world you were done with me." He didn't respond. I walked away. Another week passed. He sent flowers. I threw them out. He left voicemails. I deleted them. Then Rachel called again. "You've got to hear this." She sent me a clip from an interview. He was on a business podcast. The host asked, "So, you're newly in love. How's life with the new lady?" His smile dropped. "Actually, ... We've broken up." The host blinked. "Wait, already?" He nodded slowly. "Yeah. It wasn't what I thought." There was a pause. "She left me too," he added, voice quieter. The host looked surprised. "Both of them?" He nodded again. 2 days later, he showed up again. This time, he waited outside Melissa's place. She called me. "He's here. Want me to send him away?" I thought for a moment. "No, I'll talk." I went outside. He looked worse than before. Hair uncombed, no suit, just a wrinkled shirt. "I deserve that," he said, seeing my face. You deserve more than that. But I'm done giving you attention. I made a mistake. You made a public mockery of our marriage. I was stupid. I thought I loved her. I thought you didn't care. I didn't care, I asked. I cooked for you that night. I waited. I wore that dress you liked. I loved you. But I was just background noise to you. I know. I know now. He looked like he wanted to cry. I didn't care. You didn't just leave. You wanted applause for it. I was proud of something I didn't understand. And I lost everything. I didn't answer. I miss you, he whispered. I looked at him. Calm/steady. I don't miss you. Then I went back inside. Later that night, he sent one final message. If I could undo it, I would. But I know I can't. I just wanted you to know. I finally cracked when you didn't say anything. Your silence broke me. I didn't respond. After I left him, life moved in slow, quiet steps. Mornings started early. I took a bus across town to my new job, administrative work at a smaller firm. Nothing glamorous, but peaceful. No one knew about my past. I liked it that way. Melissa never asked questions. She gave me space. I paid rent, bought groceries, and stayed busy. I ignored headlines about him, but they didn't stop. CEO's love story crumbles weeks after public declaration. Secretary resigns amid corporate gossip. Sources say Anna Thompson left without a word. Even when I tried to disappear, the world still whispered about me. He sent emails. They stacked up unread. Then, one day, my boss called me into his office. There's someone asking about you, he said. Claims to be your husband. Ex-husband, I corrected. He nodded. Want me to block him? Yes, please. He never showed up again at work. Rachel called to check in. You good? She asked. I'm fine. You know he's not, right? I don't care. He's a mess. She dumped him. PR pulled him from the board for a while. His company's stock dropped. I didn't respond. People talk about how strong you were. Never said a word. Never fought back. I didn't need to. Rachel paused. They say silence is the loudest scream. I ended the call and got back to work. Weeks passed. Then Melissa told me he'd called her. I didn't answer, she said. Just thought you should know. I shrugged. He'll stop. But he didn't. That night, I came home to a letter on the doorstep. Handwritten. No envelope. Anna, I don't deserve to speak to you. I know that. I just want you to know something. She's gone. She left the morning after I signed the divorce papers. She said she never wanted this life. That I destroyed yours to chase a fantasy. She was right. I lost everything the moment you walked away without a word. You were always steady, always kind. I thought love had to be loud, dramatic. But I see now it was in your silence, your loyalty, your consistency. You didn't scream, you didn't beg. That hurt more than if you had. I'm sorry. Not because it fell apart, but because I didn't see your value until you disappeared. I'll stop bothering you. Just wanted to say what I couldn't before. James. I folded the letter and placed it in a drawer. I didn't cry. I didn't smile. I just made tea and went to sleep. A few days later, Melissa said he had shown up again. Not for me, he left a box. Inside were old photos. Our wedding invitation. A necklace he once gave me. A note with one line. If you ever want them back, here they are. If not, I'll understand. Didn't touch it. My life kept moving. I got promoted quietly. I took evening walks, read more books. But the letters kept coming. One every Friday. All handwritten. Never begging. Just ... Observations. I drove past that bakery you liked. I never went with you. Should have your cousin said you adopted a cat. I hope he sits by your window like you always wanted. I saw a woman in a bookstore who looked like you from behind. I almost called your name. I didn't. They weren't apologies anymore. Just small stories. I didn't reply. But I kept every one. Then, one evening, I got a call from an unknown number. I usually ignored them, but something told me to answer. It was his mother. Anna, she said, voice soft. I know you have no reason to speak to me. But I wanted to tell you something. I waited. He's not doing well. I figured, I said. No. I mean, ... Really not well. She sighed. He's lost a lot. Not just work. He's been going to therapy. Started drinking for a while. Then stopped. But he keeps talking about you. Not in a hopeful way. Just ... with regret. I don't want anything from him, I said. I know, she said. That's what makes it worse for him. You left with dignity. It's killing him. Silence stretched. I just thought you should know. I nodded. Thank you for telling me. She hung up. That weekend, I went back to the drawer. Read through the old letters again. Stacked neatly. Dated. Sincere. I didn't feel angry. Not anymore. Just ... done. I put them back. Not because I forgave him. Not because I missed him. But because part of me respected that he finally saw the truth even if it was too late. One evening, I found another letter. Different this time. Just one sentence. Would you be willing to see me, even once, just to hear what I have to say in person? I didn't decide right away, but part of me was curious, not for closure, not for drama. Just a look at the man who had cracked from silence. I agreed to meet him, not out of emotion, just finality. We chose a neutral place, a quiet cafe on a weekday afternoon. I arrived 5 minutes early. He was already there, sitting at the corner table, staring into a cup of coffee. He looked older, not in years, but in weight, like something had settled on him and never left. When he saw me, he stood. Hi, Anna. I nodded. James? We sat in silence for a moment. You look well, he said. I am. I didn't think you'd come. You asked? He nodded, folding his hands together. His knuckles were pale from the pressure. I know I don't deserve your time. I didn't respond. He cleared his throat. I've thought about this moment for months. What I'd say, what I'd ask. He paused. But all of it feels small now. I looked at him. Then just say what's necessary. He gave a small nod. I ruined the best thing in my life. And I did it proudly, publicly. I thought I was making a bold choice. But I was being selfish. I stayed quiet. She left me the day after the gala. She said I was never her first choice. She wanted attention, not love. He gave a short, bitter laugh. I kept waiting for her to come back. Like I waited for you to get angry. But neither of you did. I had no reason to yell, I said. You made your decision loud enough. He leaned back. Do you ever think about what we had? I think about what I gave, not what I got. His jaw clenched. You were always better than me. I shook my head. I wasn't better, just quieter. And you mistook that for weakness. He didn't argue. I didn't come here for apologies, James. I just wanted to see if you'd changed. Have I? He asked. You look like you finally listened to yourself. He let out a breath. I did. Too late. But I did. I stood. Take care of yourself. He looked up quickly. That's it. You asked to speak. You did. Now we're done. I walked away. He didn't follow. That night, I felt something I hadn't in a long time: relief. Not because I'd forgiven him, but because I had no more weight to carry. I'd said nothing that day to hurt him. I didn't need to. He was already living with everything I didn't say. Over the next few weeks, he didn't reach out again. But his name came up in the news' company's board. Officially removed him as CEO. They said it was a strategic redirection. Everyone knew the truth. Investors didn't trust him. His personal scandal had cost them millions. A journalist reached out, wanting a quote from me. I declined. Silence, again, was louder than words. Melissa asked one evening, "Do you ever regret it, meeting him? Marrying him?" "No," I said. "Why not?" "Because it taught me what I won't accept again." She smiled faintly. Fair. Life kept moving. I moved into my own place. A small apartment near the lake. Peaceful. Clean. I bought a cat. Named him Milo. He liked the windowsill. I started volunteering weekends at a youth center, helping teens with resumes and job prep. It gave my weekends meaning. One Saturday, while walking out of the center, I saw him again. He was standing by a bench, holding a paper bag. He didn't look surprised to see me. "I didn't plan this," he said. "I volunteer here too." I raised an eyebrow. "Since when?" 3 weeks. I nodded. "Just trying to do something useful," he added. "I'm not here for small talk," I said. "I know." I walked past him. But halfway down the sidewalk, I paused. I turned. "You really lost everything, didn't you?" He nodded. "Everything except my guilt." "Good," I said. "Maybe it'll teach you how not to treat someone next time." He said nothing. Just watched me walk away. The truth was, he had changed. But not in a way that invited a second chance. He had changed because the silence left space for consequences to speak. He had cracked not because I punished him but because I didn't. Because I vanished when he expected drama. And in that emptiness, he found what he couldn't ignore. 1 month later, I received his last letter. "Anna, this will be my final message. I know now that I lost something rare and quiet and strong. I don't expect forgiveness. But thank you for letting me speak once. You didn't owe me that. I'll carry this lesson for the rest of my life. I hope you find someone who sees you clearly the first time." James, I folded the letter and placed it in the same drawer with the others. Then I closed it and never opened it again. After that last letter, there was no more contact. No messages. No sightings. No updates. For the first time since it all began, there was true silence between us. And I didn't miss him. I moved forward. I kept working. Took on new projects. My manager noticed. Promotions came faster. Not flashy, but earned. Some of the people I met had heard about what happened. A few whispered. I let them. People always talk. The difference now, I didn't care. James, on the other hand, was falling. News started leaking out through financial blogs and business feeds. He had officially sold his shares. The company he'd once built from the ground up had voted him out completely. A few interview clips surfaced. In one, a reporter asked, "Do you regret how you handled your personal life?" He looked down, then up, eyes flat. "Yes. Deeply." The clip went viral. For a moment, people defended him, then forgot him. That's how the world works. You become a headline, then a memory. Rachel visited me on a Sunday afternoon. She brought takeout and local gossip. "You know he moved out of the city?" she said. "No, and I don't need to know." She grinned. "Right, but I'll tell you anyway." I rolled my eyes. "He's renting a room outside town. Lives alone. No car. No assistance. Just walks to a coffee shop every day and back. Sounds peaceful." "Sounds like rock bottom," she replied. I shrugged. He chose his path. She watched me for a moment. "You're really over it, huh?" "Yes. I'm not angry anymore. I'm just past it." Rachel nodded. "That's rare. Most people cling." I let go the moment he made it public. I just didn't say it out loud. That week, I passed by our old apartment building. By chance, not intention. A for sale sign hung outside. The curtains were gone. The balcony empty. I stood across the street for a moment, just observing. Then I turned and kept walking. I didn't feel a thing. One morning, an envelope arrived at my work address. No name, no stamp. Just placed directly in the mail slot. Inside was a single sheet of paper. No return address, no reply needed. "Just wanted you to know, I checked myself into a clinic. Therapy wasn't enough. I'm trying something different. I won't write again. Thank you for your silence. It forced me to hear myself. Jay." I didn't show it to anyone. I shredded it that night. Not out of spite, but because I no longer needed his story to take up space in mine. Months passed. Then came the new year. I bought new furniture, changed my phone number, started cooking again. Melissa got engaged. Rachel started dating a guy who owned a bookstore. Everyone moved on. So did I. One rainy evening, I passed that same cafe where James and I had once met. Inside, at the far back, I saw someone who looked like him, same posture, same hair. But I didn't stop. I didn't look again. Whether it was him or not didn't matter. The story was over. But strangely, the silence he'd once hated so much became the very thing that saved us both. Me from bitterness. Him from delusion. And in that way, silence had done more than any fight ever could. By spring, I had stopped marking time by what happened. There were no more quiet comparisons between the past and now. My life had built its own rhythm again. Simple, predictable, free. I was promoted to project lead at work. A small team, clear deadlines, minimal drama. Exactly what I wanted. On weekends, I read by the lake or met up with friends. I didn't go looking for something new. I just focused on living. Then something unexpected happened. One day, after giving a talk at a career fair for students, a man approached me. Tall, neatly dressed, calm presence. "Hi," he said. "I really liked what you said about building a life that's quiet but solid." I nodded politely. "Thanks." "I'm Colin," he said. "I run a small nonprofit nearby. We teach financial literacy to high schoolers." He handed me a business card. I took it without expectation. "I'm not asking for donations," he added, smiling slightly. "I just thought you might have some insight worth sharing with our students." "Email me," I said. A week later, he did. I agreed to visit the nonprofit one afternoon. It was small, 2 rooms in a shared community space. But the energy was focused, clean. Students asked questions. Volunteers worked without needing credit. I liked the environment. And I liked Colin's approach. He didn't talk over people. He asked. Then listened. By the 3rd visit, I realized something. I hadn't once thought about James during these conversations. Colin and I weren't flirting. We weren't hinting. We were just cooperating, respectfully. And that was enough. Over time, we talked outside the nonprofit too. About books, about work, about mistakes and course corrections. One day, he said, "You seem like someone who's lived through something and made peace with it." "I have," I replied. "And the peace wasn't instant. It was earned." He nodded. "That's the best kind." We didn't label anything. No rushing. Just mutual interest, steadily built. In May, I took a short trip out of town. Alone, just to walk unfamiliar streets and sleep in clean hotels. I brought a notebook and jotted down small goals. None of them were big or flashy. Grow something in a pot. Say yes to a new idea once a month. Visit a new bookstore every 2 weeks. Keep my weekends protected. It wasn't a 5-year plan. It was a life I could control. One day, I ran into someone from the past, not James. A mutual acquaintance from our old circle, Harper, a designer. She looked surprised to see me. "Anna, you look peaceful," she said. I smiled. "Thanks." "Have you talked to James lately?" she asked. "No." She hesitated. "He's different now, I'm sure." She looked like she wanted to say more, but I didn't invite it. "I hope he's okay," I said. "But I don't need to know." She blinked. "You really mean that?" "I do." Harper nodded slowly. "Then I guess you really moved on." "Yes," I said. "And I hope he did too." By summer, I had changed my routine entirely. Morning walks, no more checking emails before breakfast. I planted herbs on the windowsill. I took a beginner's painting class. Even though I was bad at it, I said no to things that didn't feel right. I said yes to time alone. I didn't need someone else to complete the story. It was already complete. The ending wasn't dramatic. It wasn't revenge. It was clarity. Fall arrived with cooler air and softer mornings. The nonprofit continued to grow. I helped Colin write a grant proposal. It got approved. More students joined the program. I still worked my regular job, but this gave my off hours new value. We never talked about us. But there was something steady building between us, no rush, no pressure. One Saturday, after a workshop, we sat on a bench outside. Colin said, "You're easy to be around." "That's rare." I looked at him. "So are you." That was all. In October, I got an email from James's old lawyer. It wasn't personal, just a formal notice. He had officially filed for bankruptcy. The estate was closing. They were resolving remaining legal ties. I didn't respond. There was nothing for me to say. But I realized, for the first time, that I felt no sting. No regret. No anger. No flicker. His story had reached its end, at least in my chapter. And I had no desire to reopen it. One evening, I visited the bookstore where Rachel's boyfriend worked. It had become a regular stop. I browsed slowly. On the back shelf, I picked up a book about emotional survival. Not healing, just surviving. The dedication caught my eye. For those who stayed quiet and were still blamed. This is for you. I closed the book. That was me once. But not anymore. That winter, Colin invited me to a dinner. Not romantic, just a gathering of mentors, volunteers, and students. He introduced me briefly as a woman who quietly does the work and doesn't ask for credit. It struck me how different that sounded from the version of me James once paraded around. With Colin, there was no performance, just reality, and it was enough. 1 week later, while buying groceries, I saw James again. For the first time in a year. He was in the parking lot, alone, carrying one bag. He saw me, too. We both paused. He didn't approach. Neither did I. He gave a nod. Small, quiet. I returned it. Then we each walked away. That was it. No words, no closure needed. Because closure had already happened long ago. Not through confrontation, but through distance, acceptance, and time. Later that night, I told Colin about it. "Do you feel all right?" he asked. "I feel neutral," I said. "Like seeing an old classmate I didn't really know." He smiled. "That's how you know it's over." New Year's Eve came. I didn't throw a party. No resolutions. I made tea, watched the sky darken, lit a candle. At midnight, I whispered quietly, "Thank you for the lesson. I'm done now." And I meant it.